Hi, this is Gary Dranow from Park City, Utah, and the Gary Dranow Show. Proudly broadcasting to you from Radio Evolve Rocks in Santa Barbara, California. Listen more and evolve. This is Gary Dranow, all things music Gary Dranow, and today I have a very special guest. It's my distinct pleasure to have on board Brian Sherrill, a very special guitar instructor, and in my life, very special, and a man of many talents. Welcome to my show, Brian, and my 678,000 YouTube subscribers and over 500,000 podcast listeners are going to be very excited about our conversation. So welcome on, man.
Awesome. Thank you, Gary. It's good. Good. I'm glad you got me. Glad that we're connecting finally. We tried. Remember, we had a little snag there where we are trying to get connected, and I'm glad it finally worked out. It's good.
It was my 71-year-old brain not being able to figure out when we scheduled things, so it was my fault.
No, that's okay. It's
So,
hard.
Brian,
There's a lot of moving parts in this stuff. So,
yeah. So, Brian, let's start with where you grew up, what kind of environment shaped you as a kid, and how did music first find you?
Well, gosh, it's not a very riveting story. I grew up in Cookeville, Tennessee, which is what is the population of Cookeville now? Maybe 30, 40,000. At the time, it was a lot less. Small town, Middle Tennessee. And I was always pretty musical, in that, I started with the piano when I was like 3 or 4, maybe. I started playing little things. I remember like real early on when my fingers were too small to even make like a major chord on the piano. But I had a pretty good ear for stuff, but I wasn't any kind of prodigy or anything like that. I was just, just sort of your average kid. It wasn't until I think junior high I got into band, and they did some kind of a test, I remember, to see if you, I think it tested your ear, and I got the highest score on that. And I always did bad in school. Like I'm just not a good student, and I was always bad at sports. I was bad at everything. I tried skateboarding, I was bad at that. Tried freestyle biking, I was bad at that. I was bad at everything. But then I found this one thing I was kind of good at, which was I had a decent ear. And so anyway, that sort of encouraged me to join the band, and I picked up the French horn. So this is how they did it. It's kind of weird. It's actually really kind of stupid, the way that they did it, but they laid out all the instruments on a table in the cafeteria, and you just got to go around and look at them, and it was like, I didn't know what any of them were. I knew what a trumpet was and maybe a flute, but outside of that, it's just like, I don't know what these things are. So I'm just looking at him. I see the French horn, and it's got all these like tubes and just sort of coils, and it looks so weird. It kind of caught my eye. So I'm like, I think I want to try that one. I had no idea what it sounded like or what its purpose was, but I picked the instrument based on the look of it. And so anyway, I joined the band, and I was okay at it. I wasn't a great French horn player, but I could pick out little things. I remember doing the nightly news theme. On the and I would play that, and everybody thought that was cool. Um, but yeah, so I was in band for like a couple years, like seventh and eighth grade, and then I dropped out of that.
When you say you were in band, was it the marching band or
Yes.
or
Yeah,
okay?
the marching band. Right, exactly. We're talking like junior high band. So, you play football games, and we would do the Christmas show and stuff, like, for our parents, but it was just a junior high band, and I was in it seventh and eighth grade. And then I realized, hey, this isn't cool, like kids are making fun of band kids. And I dropped out after eighth grade, and it really bothered me because I was friends with the kids in band, and like I would still see them. They'd be lugging their instruments. This would be in the ninth grade year when I wasn't in it. But I'd see them in the cafeteria, and they'd have their band jackets and stuff. And I kind of missed it, but I did not join it back. So after that, I just sort of stepped away from music, I guess. And then at some point, maybe around 15, which this probably happened to you too. It happens to most of us that get into stringed instruments. It's around 14, 15. I think it's because we've got enough muscle to be able to do it. You know, when you're little.
Dexterity, right?
Yeah, Dexter, exactly. And my dad had this guitar. It was like an old harmony guitar, and the action was, this high off. It was a horrible guitar, and I tried learning it when I was younger. I remember him trying to show me a chord, and I couldn't do it. It just hurt too bad. But I picked it up around 15. I had a friend that was also playing that kind of inspired me, and I started playing guitar, and I've been playing it ever since. Just love the instrument. To me, it's I don't know, ukulele is one of my favorites too, but guitar is like maybe it's I guess the sort of the perfect instrument. You can do just about anything with it. It's portable. It's everything from classical to heavy metal. It's everything, and it's just
Is that a mandolin on the wall behind you over the dog?
that is, yeah, exactly.
Do you play mandolin?
I do. Yeah, I play quite a bit.
All right. So that's where you developed your fast alternate picking, I assume.
Actually, yeah, it is. Uh the synchronization bit, and you have the tremolo with the mandolin, you're right. That does translate to guitar. Actually, I want to mention this because if for anybody else that's thinking about picking up another instrument, I was on the fence when I got into guitar. I did that for many years, and then I started playing a little banjo, a little like Scruggs style banjo, where you got the three fingers and the picks on the fingers on the right hand. And I kept thinking I'm gonna short change my guitar stuff. Like I'm gonna put energy into this thing now, and it's gonna hurt the guitar work, but it doesn't. It actually helps it. And same with a mandolin. It's like if you learn another instrument, it's not like the original thing that you started with goes away. It just helps it, especially something like mandolin where you're getting tremolo with the right hand and the synchronization. That'll all translate back to guitar. So you're still you're still in the zone. It's not like you lose one if you pick up another. I guess that's my point.
It's very interesting, I played the flute in chamber music, and that was my only departure from guitar. But just like you, um, uh, I was driving up Ventura Boulevard. This is in San Fernando Valley in Los Angeles, and my mom was driving me in her Cadillac. And on the radio, this was 1968, comes on Crossroads by Cream.
Mm.
And it was like I got hit by a lightning bolt. And I said, Mom, turn the car around. Ernie Balls was literally four blocks the other direction. She took me to Ernie Ball's guitar, and half an hour later, I walked out with my 1967 Stratocaster, which I still have to this day, and
Oh,
a
nice.
Super Champ amp. And uh, Eric was way over my head. I mean, I didn't know anything. And my first guitar teacher decided he was going to teach me Mary Had a Little Lamb, and this is um, not oh my God.
You're talking
The,
about the blues version of it.
yeah, the
Stevie
82-year-old
Ray
guy.
and Buddy Guy.
Buddy Guy. Yeah,
Yeah.
it wasn't Buddy Guy's version. It was, Mary Had a Lamb, and I lost interest really
Oh, you're
quickly.
talking so he showed you the original da, just the melody
Da,
probably.
da, 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 da. Well, anyways, and he was trying to get me to tap my foot, and I had no coordination between playing the guitar and tapping my foot. So, anyways, I lost interest, and I'm just going to fast forward a few years. Then I found Ted Green, the guy who wrote Chord Chemistry,
Oh yeah,
and
yeah.
he was my teacher for 5 years,
Oh wow.
and really shaped me. Brian, were there any early impressions, perhaps a particular song, teacher, or instrument that sparked your love for guitar?
Oh, early on, you mean? Like in the very
Yeah,
beginning?
or yeah.
Yeah, well, the first thing that I really loved and it was kind of weird was the Ventures, the band The Ventures. To me,
Me too. Me too.
yeah, well, my dad had he had a lot of their records, and so I would hear all this surf music, and I thought it was just so cool. And then he had this one album that was called Play Guitar with the Ventures, and it was like four songs, and it came with a book, and the book showed you how to play the rhythm. And it had the like the tab, and
Was
then it
this
had.
was this Hal Leonard?
I don't remember if Hal Leonard did it. He could have. It could have been a Hal Leonard thing.
Okay,
Um,
so anyways,
yeah, but anyway, it was four songs. It was Tequila, Walk, Don't Run. Can't remember the other two, but that was like when I learned how to do that, and I could play the rhythm to Tequila, and then I could play the little lead part. I felt like I was really getting somewhere with the whole thing, and it just felt amazing. But those were my first kind of guitar thing. The other thing with guitar was, and this is just my age, I'm 52. So in 1985, when Back to the Future came out, I was 14 years old, I think. Yeah, I was around 14. And that scene with Michael J. Fox where he's playing the guitar and playing the Chuck Berry stuff, that was just like for a lot of people my age, that was a big that one scene had to have increased the interest in guitars for a lot of kids because that just made it look so cool, like the old, the
ES
blue
three thirty
thing.
five and
Yeah, he had 335. Yeah, I guess it was a 335 or a 345. I can't remember, but he was, but remember he knocked over the amp and he started kind of
and
going all
he
crazy with it.
playing on his back on the
Yeah.
stage. Yeah.
But I mean, to
Uh,
me, I'd never seen anything like that at that point, and I was just like, "Well, now that is cool." I don't, and then you realize, oh, this stuff's all been done. Like this isn't like new stuff. He was just doing kind of a lot of old stuff. So that was kind of my early influences. I remember, at least in the guitar space.
all right, we're going to take our first break, but we're going to dig a little bit deeper into. You're going to share a memory of the moment you realized music was much more than a hobby. So keep that in your mind. We'll be
Okay.
back in 2 minutes.
That's an E note. Now, here's what we're going to do. We're going to get into the visual thing. You know how I like shapes and patterns and all that, but just for now, just follow along. Grab your guitar and follow along. We're going to start on this note, and then we're going to look at a little box here. So I'm going to go up 2 frets, and I'm going to hit the 11th fret on that same string. And then I'm going to go down on the string below that, on the 4th string, and play the same frets, 9 and 11. That's my box. But my root note, my home bass, is here, right? So that's my E note. Okay, so now I'm going to go up 3 frets on that same string, on that 3rd string, and I'm going to hit the 12th fret. Now listen to that note in relation to the root. Listen to that. It has kind of a sad sound. It sounds serious, right? And so what I'm doing when I'm playing this note is I'm playing the flat 3. Now, if I take my flat 3 and I go up 1 fret from there, I'm playing the 3rd. And you can hear how happy that sounds. Right? Listen to that. But the sound of going from that flat 3 to the 3 is absolutely critical in the blues. That little slide from the flat 3 to the 3, or a hammer on, or however you do it, or even a bend. So from this root, I've got my 3, I've got my flat 3.
Well, we're back with Brian Sherrill, and you're on, the All Things Music with Gary Dranow. Can you share a memory of the moment you realized music was more than just a hobby for you?
Oh man, the moment, I don't have a specific moment like that, more than just a hobby, but I do remember early on, there was a point where this would have been maybe a year into playing guitar, where I was learning how to do something, and I was sitting in my room and I was hungry, and I realized I hadn't eaten anything. And like 4 hours had gone past. It was like 9 o'clock, and like I was like, oh, I skipped dinner, and so I did that, and I went downstairs. My mom was kind of like, oh, we got your food in the microwave or whatever. So I ate, and then I did it again a couple of times, and I realized this is something that I'm like, there was no video game, there was no thing at that time that could hold my attention, and I could obsess over like this. Like I was realizing there was more to this than just kind of like you said, like a hobby. It wasn't just a hobby. This was like becoming somehow it was just like, this is something I have to do. It's not like, yeah, maybe I'll do this or I'll just kind of practice here or there. This was like, no, this was like somehow I knew that there was a greater calling to all of this. And it took me years and years. It wasn't until I was in my late 30s until I figured out how to actually create a career out of it and monetize it. And sadly, at some point in that journey, I kind of had given up on all of that. Never gave up on the guitar, but I gave up on, making any sort of living with it. Yeah, in the beginning, it was just sort of like the love affair was so strong. I would put that over food, you know.
Did you? Never mind. Continue, sir.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah, but I mean that's
At what moment did you decide to leave the corporate world and commit to music full time? And what was the transition like?
yeah, that's the $1 million question, right? So, well, like I said, I'd always played. I had I put on my big boy pants and I went and got a real job at one point in my, mid 50s. I got fired from a few jobs too. I'm not like a model citizen on that stuff for sure, but I finally kind of got my act together and was able to figure out how to make a living as a graphic designer. I worked for a newspaper for a while doing ads there, and then I moved on, did some other things in the Nashville area. And so I ended up through graphic design, I kind of figured out, oh, well, there's actually more money if I can get into marketing, which, is sort of a natural transition. They're all in the same sort of department in a corporate world. And I kind of just went from job to job. I don't have a college degree, but I would see somebody else doing something in a company and go, I want to do that. So I'm just going to have to start down here and I'm going to have to work my way up. In 3 years, I can be there kind of thing. And I could do it. I figured out like you can actually do that stuff. You don't need to, at least from my experience, I didn't necessarily need a degree. But to your question, that was a long-winded way to segue into it. But there was a point where I got into marketing, which is great, except for the fact that, and goes into the Peter principle. I don't know if you've ever heard of that, where you get promoted to your level of incompetence. At some point,
Mm-hmm.
you're not able to do the thing that got you to where you're at. And so that happened to me. I was doing well as a graphic designer. And then when I was running a marketing department, I was a director of a team. I wasn't so good. And I was insecure and I was very nervous all the time. And I had to give presentations and I was terrible at that. I'm a terrible public speaker. I'm terrible at,
Well, I mean, in your lessons, you're public speaking all the
well,
time.
but that's different because I can edit. And I know
Ah,
when I turn that camera on, if I say something stupid, I mean, I can't edit this, but this is more of just a conversation. But if I had to present something, if I had to button up a topic on something, I would be so nervous that I would blow it. If I'm just talking off the cuff like this, telling you, I'm just answering your questions. That's not hard. But if you said, Brian, I want you to present this thing and make it like, have a beginning, middle, and end, I would have a hard time with that. And so I did. I was doing that in the corporate world. I could do it, but I wasn't good at it. And so I was sitting there one day, miserable. I had to give a presentation, and I started writing down just to make myself feel better. I started writing down all the things that make me happy. And I don't know why I did it, but I just felt compelled to do it. So I started writing down like ice cream, and playing guitar, and I like blues music, and I like, social media and all those things at that time. And I started just staring at this list after I wrote it down. And all of a sudden it's like I knew what to do. I knew, like, it was like a beam of light shone on this list and it was like, oh, guitar, social media, I'm in marketing. I know how to do online marketing. I and I just sort of knew maybe I could just sort of teach people how to play guitar. Out of that, it came. Now, I've never given a lesson to anybody. I'm zero qualifications at this point. I'm an okay blues guitar player, but I wouldn't call myself anything more than okay. That's about where I was. But I had at least I knew I had the gift of I like explaining, taking a complicated thing and breaking it down into something small. I like that challenge. And I think I was thinking I was pretty good at it. So that was the beginning. And at that point, I realized all I need to do is create a course and sell a course. That should be easy. I know how to market it and all that. And so I spent the next 6 to 8 months building a course. Every day when I'd go home, I'd work on this beginner guitar course in my basement with my $300 camera that I went and bought at Best Buy. It was like super low budget. But I learned a pretty harsh lesson. I spent, at the end of it, 8 months. It was close to a year probably by the time I got the thing out there and had a website, which I also had picked up through my graphic design. I learned how to do
where was the internet when you first got going with this? It was fully developed, right? I mean,
yeah, the internet was there. It was the internet. My memories of the early internet that I was on was 93, or 94, 95. That's when I kind of fell into it. But at this would have been years later. This would have been in 2000 and
well, you started your academy in 2010, right?
yeah, it was around. I mean, I started putting some stuff out. Well, I count it as like 2010, but what I'm telling you, this part of the story was prior to that. And that was when I started this. I launched this course. And so when I launched this course, after all that time and energy and all my marketing genius that I thought I was going to put into this, the thing flopped. I go live with it. I'm waiting for sales. I've got some advertisement out there, some pay-per-click advertisement. It's doing nothing. Finally get one sale, and I'm thinking, yes. And then she wanted a refund or something. It was just,
oh God.
it was just devastating. So I think I spent maybe a year just kind of sulking and like wallowing around in my grief, only to realize, no, that just means that wasn't the right approach. And so I need to recalibrate here and think about how to really do this right. And so that's when 2010 or 2009, somewhere in there, I'm just going to see what I can do for free. I'm just going to try.
Your platform, is that yours? Did you develop it, or is it another?
Yeah, you're talking about the website itself?
Yeah, where people go to see your lessons.
Yeah, that was all developed by, well, I have a guy that works with me, a guy named Ricky. But I developed the first one myself. I just coded
Ricky, don't lose that number.
Yeah, exactly. Ricky's awesome. He's my hero. But yeah, so I did it all myself in the beginning. The first version of the website was just me, and put it out there. And but that happened after. What I did first, though, between that failed course and then actually having a really good website that works, was I started putting content out on YouTube just to see if I could get free subscribers on YouTube. Like I just wanted to see, can I just even get anybody?
Don't you have currently? Don't you have something like 5, 6, 700,000 subscribers?
Yeah, it's over 600 on YouTube. Yeah.
So
it's
like me,
well.
you're making money off of your views and
Yeah, exactly. It took a while though to figure out the formula and to be able to get people to subscribe to you. Like to get somebody to subscribe, a stranger that doesn't know you, to actually take the action to click the subscribe button. There's a lot of energy that has to happen around that, and there's a lot of trust that they have to have in you. And I realized kind of early into this that this is not so much about guitar. I mean, yes, it is. I mean, the guitar is what they're going to want to, follow you for. But there's also, equal to the guitar part, it's your personality and it's trust. They have to trust you and see you as a buddy, a friend, somebody that's not trying to pitch something to them that they don't want. You're just there to help. And that's how I try and always remember that about when I put content out there. My job is to just be helpful and try and provide as much value as I can to people. And if I do
Well,
that,
and on that note, you singularly, I had a stroke in 2005, and I put down my guitar for 4 years or so, and then I discovered you, and you helped me not only rekindle my love for the guitar, but to help me rebuild my dexterity and technique. So you are very helpful. Just to
that's
answer your
awesome.
question, just to answer your statement.
Yeah, no,
Um,
that's great. I love hearing. I mean, that means everything to hear that. That's what I would have never guessed, when I started this, that people would even say things like that. Because when you start these things, I don't know about, I mean, if you've got another viewer that's trying to start something or, trying to get into something and they hear this, it's like, just know that, like, I think most of us are very insecure. At least I am. I know. Even with success, even though I've had success, I'm still incredibly insecure. That doesn't go away. I still doubt myself. I'm still not sure. I mean, some of it's gotten a little better, but when you say something like, I helped you with your stroke, I mean, that's like if I could have heard that early on, it would have been all the motivation I would have ever needed. Just to hear one person say that would have been like, wow, I really got to do this. So that's great to hear.
um, which artists or traditions, blues, jazz, country, have most influenced your playing? Any compositional efforts and your teaching style?
Oh man, that's the $1 million. Oh, that's the $1 billion question. There's so much to that. Uh, the one of the first things that I remember you were talking about, you heard Crossroads by Cream, and you had to turn around and go get a guitar. For me, one of the first things that just blew me away, also Eric Clapton, but was Hideaway. His version of
I
Hideaway.
played it last night with my band.
Did you?
Oh yeah, and we were talking about surf music. I also played Apache last night with my band.
Oh, I
But
love that
anyways,
song.
I'm more interested in what you have to say right now.
Yeah, no. So Hideaway, when I heard the John Mayall and the Blues Breakers, and I can't remember where I heard this. Somebody gave me a tape or something because that would have definitely been way before my time. But I heard Hideaway, and there was something about the organ in it, which would have been John Mayall playing, and then Clapton's guitar work, and his tone on that was just so cool.
Well, and I would venture to say that's probably next to Crossroads his best playing ever
Yes,
on that particular
I
song. I
agree.
mean, yeah.
I would love to hear. I've never heard outtakes from that. I'm sure he may have done it in one take. I kind of think they probably did several takes, and I bet that exists out there. But I agree with what you said right there because to me that is the like the pinnacle of Clapton is that song, that his take on that, and he's just played it so perfectly. And when part of the attraction to that when I first heard it was I thought, well, that sounds amazing, but I think I can do that. I think I can do parts of it. I couldn't do all of it, but I knew there were parts that were too fast. But I thought I could at least get the main riff and the little B part and all that. I thought I could do it. And then you realize it's way trickier than you think to do it.
I tried to learn it and I gave up.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
mean, I got Crossroads down, which is easy compared to
Yes.
Clapton's and Mayall's Hideaway.
I agree with that. You can get through Crossroads. The phrasing on that one is way easier than Hideaway. But Hideaway to me, when I heard that, it's just like, oh man, if I could just do that, that's it. That's that one song kind of. But then that leads you down a path. You go, oh well, Freddie King did Hideaway. And you
Mm-hmm.
start digging in and wait, who's this Freddie King guy? Oh, he's got all these great instrumentals like that. And then he's this great vocalist. And then wait, there's these other kings, there's
Albert, you do a fantastic job with your 2 Albert King lessons, especially the one where you don't have a backing track. I pour myself into that every week.
Oh, cool. Yeah. Oh, that's cool. That one was fairly recent too, right? Maybe a year
Yeah,
ago or so. Yeah.
yeah, about a year.
Yeah. I thought that would be kind of cool to do one without a backing track and just like, can you, with an electric guitar, can you kind of get that Albert vibe, like some of his things?
Oh, we got to take a 2-minute break. Sorry to interrupt you, Brian. Hold your
Okay.
thought, stick a pin in it. We'll be right
Okay,
back.
so in this week's lesson, we're going to be blending the major and minor pentatonic scale to play over a slow, heavy Chicago blues. It sounds like this. All right, so we're going to break that entirely down note for note. I'll explain where all the notes come from so that you can steal them and use them in your own playing. That's really the idea behind this lesson, behind all the lessons at Active Melody. So in this video, we're going to go through the first half, the lead. I'll explain all of that. If you'd like to watch the second half, and then also download the tablature for the entire solo and get the MP3 jam track, which I have in multiple tempos, you can get the extra materials for this lesson so that you can practice playing everything we're going to talk through by going to activemelody.com and doing a search for EP604. Okay, so let me...
Back with Brian Sherrill, the instructor of instructors. If you want to learn guitar, Brian is your guy because he breaks things down in a way that nobody else that I know of does, and he makes it bite-sized chunks and consumable. You did a lesson. It was EP 554, was it?
You're talking about the Albert King.
The Albert King lesson without the backing track.
Yes, right. Solo guitar, no backing track. So if you're watching this and you have any interest in that, you can go to activemelody.com and just do a search for, you can just type in the number 554 into the search thing. But that's the lesson we were referring to for this.
So at that point when you came out with that, this was your 554th lesson, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, and since 2010 you've done this. What are you up to now?
Oh gosh, we're up to because I've got micro lessons mixed in
Micro lessons. We'll talk about that.
Yeah, but it's as far as the EP, which I don't know why I started calling them that. That was supposed to be short for episode.
Like episode.
Yeah. We're at 618 at this point. So we're getting up there. But then there's like 100 and something micro lessons. So, you got to mix those in too. Those are
go ahead and explain micro lessons and where they fit into your audience.
Yeah, so the lessons that I create one a week, and I've been doing the same thing every Friday for years and years now. It goes back, 15 years, I guess. But a lesson, which has a number, EP so and so, EP 102 or EP 1, those are full, like almost like a course. So, it's like a very substantial amount of content where I'll have a whole a song that I compose, and then I'll break it down and explain where all that comes from. A micro lesson is kind of a mini version of that, knowing that not everybody has time or the interest in learning this full thing. Some people just want a quick idea or a quick little lick or a little chord substitution or something like that. That was the idea behind micro lessons. Plus, I kept seeing all this vertical content
Keep your thought. Keep your thought. I don't want you to forget where you're going. But
Yep.
your lesson you did on chord substitutions, which I think is a fairly recent lesson, was absolutely brilliant.
Oh, cool.
Where you're showing the six chord and the 9 chord.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
The major 7 chord, and brilliant.
Oh, cool.
Anyways,
that's all about like hearing the sound of you play one. If the band is playing a G chord, you can play another chord on top of that, like a minor chord, and then your chord will color their chord and pull it in a different direction. But with a micro lesson, I kept seeing social media. I kept seeing these vertical videos on TikTok and Instagram Reels, and it's like 1 minute, 3 minutes. 3 minutes would be top. It would be 15 seconds, or these short little things. And I know that that's the space that a lot of the algorithms are looking for on these channels, and so I had to start creating some content to fit into that.
So reels and shorts and
that was the idea behind these smaller bite-sized lessons. That's why I call them micro lessons. Kind of a corny name, but
there's nothing corny about it. They're exactly what they're supposed to be. How do roots-based genres inform what you teach, especially improvisation and phrasing?
Yeah, so roots-based, that's just that's what I call it, for lack of a better word, because people say, well, what kind of stuff do you listen to, or what kind of stuff do you play or even teach? And I like blues, and I love old country, and I love bluegrass, and I touch on jazz. I love it, love to listen to it. I'm not very good at playing it, but there's little bits of it in there. And so I call it roots, because to me, all of that stuff is based on like just pure music. It's like it's not like some kind of a watered down thing that happened, like in like 80s synths and stuff. It's just sort of roots based, organic, analog sound. And so your question was, what of the roots based influence my playing? Is that what you asked? Sorry.
Yeah. Or informed your teaching when you're writing for yourself, composition, or you're teaching what pulls you in what direction.
Oh yeah, well, to my ear, it all goes back to blues and to basically the sound of the blues, the sound of the flat 7 note, the sound of the flat 3 going to the major 3. That sound, I hear it in everything. Like you could I could play along with a Miles Davis record and work blues into it. I could play along with Hank Williams record and work blues into it. And that's just, that's just a style thing, but that's the most interesting sound to me. Is you don't want to overdo it. Like if you're playing along with a Hank Williams song, you don't want to just be playing minor pentatonic scale all the time. Then you sound like you don't know what you're doing. But if you're playing, a major scale, major pentatonic scale, and you work in some of those flat 7s, it just blueses it up in the right amount. And to me, that's that if I were to boil it all down, it's like, it really comes down.
Do you say major 7 or minor 7?
I said flat 7, like
flat 7. So Mixolydian.
Exactly. Yeah, it'd be like your major scale. You put that flat. Take your major scale and you flat the 7, and you just get enough of that color of the blues that it'll work over just about anything, if you do it in a sort of a tasty way.
Your lessons often emphasize playing by ear and improvising. How did you come to prioritize improvisation over rote learning?
Oh, well, I had to pick a direction with what I am when I started my channel. When I started, it was kind of early on. There was Marty Schwartz was out there, and there was Justin Guitar. There was a couple others. There's maybe 10, I would say. This is the internet landscape looked a lot different when I started. And so they were all kind of doing their thing. Marty was really good, still is really great at breaking down any song you've ever heard. I mean, he's a genius at that. I didn't want to go that route for one reason, because Marty was doing it, but the other reason was I didn't want to deal with copyrights and all that stuff. So I chose, through my kind of figuring it out, oh, well, the thing that I like the most is just improvising. That's what I want to show people how to do anyway. And so, and then with that, I don't have to deal with other people's songs. I can just show you ideas and concepts. And if you hear other guys jamming and you want to pick up a guitar and sit in a blues jam or something, like, how do you do that? I thought that that would be very interesting to a lot of people to learn how to do that.
It absolutely is. It's kind of the holy grail. Being able to go to a blues jam night at a club and sit in for your one or two songs, to be able to do that. In the jazz world, it's even more so, because you got to know standards to go in and play. So you've got to know Autumn Leaves or Stella by Starlight or whatever. How has your own playing evolved over time? Any genre or technique? We know it's blues, but anything recently excited? Are you excited to explore?
Yeah, I got blues for sure, always there. Started there, but then through the years, I've sort of morphed into bluegrass. And some of it is with mandolin, like we were talking about earlier. You know, I got into Bill Monroe and the whole thing.
Do you play slide, by the way?
A little bit. I wouldn't call myself a slide player. I'm pretty insecure about that, but I do a little bit. And I've never got back the vibrato. I've just never got that clean.
Yeah, it's tough. So back to what you were just saying.
Yeah. So as far as other styles, I have this love for, and it goes back to the root stuff, Carter family, all the way, I guess, all way back. But I love bluegrass. Started with banjo, and then I got into mandolin, and then it spilled into guitar. I never really could be much of a bluegrass guitar player until that's probably the most recent thing for me. And I play with a group of guys, and there's one guy that's a great bluegrass guitar picker
flat picker.
Flat picker, yeah, and like, I don't know, it influences me because I hear it and it sounds so good, and I think, well, I got to get better at that. So then I get into Tony Rice and, you know, go down the Norman Blake path and all of that, and trying to pick up licks and ideas. And then I find that all this blues stuff it's all there too. It's in that stuff. It's just they're doing it in a different way, but they're using the same notes. They're just arranging it.
Kind of like Eric Johnson did with pentatonics, huh?
Yeah.
Talk about doing something in a different way. I mean, my God.
Right. Exactly.
I saw your collaboration between you and Tomo Fujitsu. I really can't pronounce his name. On vibrato and bend control. What exchanges stood out to you from that session? And how did you land that well, by the way?
With Tomo and I don't, you know, we met, gosh, I think Marty Schwartz introduced us at the NAMM show. That's when I met him. And we've just talked on the phone and had, you know, exchanges. And then Tomo said, we should do a YouTube video together. I was like, okay. But I wasn't sure what to talk about. And so I think it was in that conversation, Tomo was just bending. He was talking about something else. And then I realized, like, oh yeah, Tomo's got this unique bending thing that he does. He's really good at it, has such good control. I thought that might be kind of interesting to really kind of focus in on what he's doing. And so we ended up, I can't remember, it's been a while since we did that conversation, but I could.
Is that on your website? Where can people find that?
That's on YouTube. I don't know that it's on the website. I think that was just a YouTube video. It's on the Melody channel, though.
So they search Brian Sherrill and Tomo Fujitsu, and it'll come up.
You could go on YouTube and search Active Melody Tomo Tomo and then Fujita
Fujita.
Fujita or O
Yeah,
Fujita.
TA.
Yeah, A Fujita, yeah. You could search that and then you can find it. But it's maybe a 20-minute back and forth with the two of us. We actually did another one and it never made it to YouTube, and I'm trying to think why. I think I have it, and maybe I just forgot to edit it and put it out. I'm not sure.
Edit it and put it up, man.
Yeah, that's good. He's great. I mean, Tomo is like he's kind of the he's so zen and calm. I think that's why people, one of the reasons, I mean, he's obviously an incredible musician, but
Well, and he's Berkeley School of Music, right?
yes, exactly. He's Berkeley, and he was John Mayer's
Yeah,
guitar.
yeah, that's right. That's right.
Yeah, so that's a pretty big deal.
Uh, I would say. Tell us about founding Active Melody in 2010. We already heard what motivated you, but what really cemented your idea to develop your own teaching platform, especially with the internet where it is today?
Yeah, so back then, like the question I guess is like, why teach it? Is that kind of what, like, where
Sure,
that
sure.
well, because I wanted to monetize it somehow. I mean, just to be honest, I mean, there's this part of me that's like, well, I'm doing it for the better of mankind, which is true, and I'm trying to help people, yes. But then there's this other part. It's like, well, you got to eat, and you've got to be able to make a living with it. In the beginning, I never thought of it that way. I didn't think of it as something that could be like my full-time career at all. That just seemed like I would have laughed if you told me that. I thought maybe this would be enough to pay for my lunch when I went out for lunch. That was about where my expectations were. And so when I got into it, the reason like why teach this stuff as opposed to just be a studio musician or something, I'm not good enough to do the studio stuff. I'm not good enough to do a lot of the Nashville work. I mean, those guys, that's a whole different caliber. I'm good enough to improvise and sit around and jam or play in a band or something, but those kinds of gigs are not for me. So I had to find another path. I've ended up going teaching, finding that I really love it. And I wasn't good at that either. If you look at my old videos, I'm pretty terrible. It took me several years. I'm only putting this out there just because I know there's somebody listening to this that'll be motivation to hear that like it's not like you just start off and you're good at it. You're probably same, Gary, with your podcasts. You look at the first ones and they're just probably terrible, like by your expectation now.
Yeah.
You
Oh
know,
yeah. Oh yeah.
you get better though. It's like a muscle. You just have to do it over and over and just put your stuff, put it out there, whatever you're
Well,
trying to.
it's like starting a YouTube channel. I
Yeah, yeah,
mean, you've got to have the seed, you got to fertilize the seed, you got to water the seed, and it grows. But if you don't make that first step, it never happens.
that's right. And the sad thing is when you're fertilizing and watering the seed and you're looking at it and the soil still looks exactly the same and it's been a week and you still see nothing. I'm speaking metaphorically, but you don't know if this effort you're putting into it is even going to pay off. That's that hard part, is when you don't have any subscribers, no views. You're just sort of trying to like, is this going to ever work? And then all of a sudden it's like there's a little sprout, and then it's like, whoa, that's all you need. I just needed to see a few subscribers. Then it's like, okay, somebody out there, some stranger that I don't know, likes what I'm doing, and so maybe there's others.
Have you had any run-ins with Rick Beato?
Let me think. I saw Rick at that same where I met with Tomo. He was there, or well, he was at the NAMM show. I don't know if he was at that event. I saw him just walk around, but no, I've never actually spoke to
You haven't been on a show yet.
Oh, no, no, no.
Well, I think you should introduce yourself to him and say, you want to interview me, man. because he would absolutely benefit from having you on his show. And he's monstrous. He's just monstrous.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Um,
He's
his
huge.
his ear and have you seen him with his son and how his son he could
Yes,
play a
I
chord
have.
on the piano and
He'll tell you the notes.
what extension it is and what the notes
Yes.
are and no, it's crazy.
No,
Um,
his son is that's prodigy level. I mean, that's like crazy how good his ear is. I don't know how it works.
yeah.
That's amazing.
You did a lesson fairly recently on ear training.
Yeah.
Let's talk about it a little bit.
Let's see. That was the one. Is that the one? I've done a few
Where
things.
you're playing intervals.
And I'm saying this one, like the 1 to the 5, sounds like the interval between Superman. Dun 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 dun. Is that the one you're talking about?
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, that to me is like if you can it's one thing to sit and learn this stuff on paper. We talk about flat 3 or flat 7s or sharp 9s and all these sort of numbers but if you can't hear it, you're wasting your time. You can sit and learn it on paper all you want. If you can't replicate it, especially when you're improvising in real time, if you can't make some of that stuff happen, or if you're writing, it doesn't have to be improvising, but if you're writing, composing, you need to be able to pull from that well. And so that was the idea behind that lesson is just that one is less about theory. It's not so much about theory at all. It's more about how do I
Hearing intervals.
how do I hear this?
Yeah.
And like, what do you mean when you say a 3? What is a 3? Well, you
Well,
have to have
I
one.
still struggle hearing the difference between a minor second and major second. I
Yeah,
mean,
right. Yeah,
I mean, I'll get it 50% of the time. You know,
that's tough.
All right, we're going to take our last 2-minute break, and we'll be right back with Brian Sherrill. And this has been a adventure.
Okay, so every now and then I'll get an email from a guitar builder or some kind of guitar related product, an amplifier or a pedal or something, and they want to send it to me and have me review it. And I understand why they're wanting me to review it and put it out in front of the Active Melody audience because it's a pretty substantial audience now. But I don't do that. I turn most of that down because I'm not very good at reviewing stuff. I don't like doing it. And if I want something, I'll just buy it. And I don't want to turn this channel into that. But every now and then I'll find something that I think you would like. And I'll only do a review on something that I think that you would truly like. And that's what this is. So this is one of those rare moments where I'll actually review a guitar because I really, really like this thing. This thing sounds incredible. This is made from Journey Instruments. And they have a new series called the Comfort Series. So I got an email from somebody there and they said they have this new Comfort Series. They're building guitars that are more ergonomic and they're more comfortable to play. And I thought, well, that's me. I like a comfortable guitar. I love parlors. I love ukuleles. I love mandolins. Anything I can sit around the couch and just keep in my lap and strum, I'll play a lot more of. And this, even though it's a dreadnought, and you look at a dreadnought, and those are usually the most uncomfortable guitars, because your arm is over that, and you got the big ridge on your arm, and they sound great, but they're not fun to play, for me anyway. They've come up with a solution, and they're not just doing dreadnoughts. They've got other styles as well, so you can check that out on their website. But check out what they've done here.
We're back with Brian Sherrill, the most interesting man in the world. Brian, over your right shoulder is an album collection. And you have how many albums in there?
Well, in this particular little patch, I'm not sure, but all in, I've got more back there. There's around 2,000 total. And these are all picked by me, just through the years, just garage sales. I'll find them. I'll go to sometimes record stores, but all over the place.
Do you have Smoking at the Half Note with Wes Montgomery?
Oh, I don't know if I have that. I don't think I do.
You got to get it if you don't have it. And how about B.B. King at the Regal?
I have that one. I have 2 copies of that one, actually. I have the original with the red, the red cover or whatever, the letters, different colors. And then I've got another release of that. So yes, for sure. That's one of the best.
I would say that is the preeminent blues record of all time, in my opinion.
Yeah, you have to own that one for sure.
All right, we're going to go rapid fire. Favorite guitar gear? Let's hear it.
Favorite guitar gear?
Let's start with favorite guitar.
Yeah, okay. Favorite guitar that I own or just of
Yeah,
all?
how many guitars do you have?
I don't know. Probably 40 or 50, but some of those are junkers, and so I don't count those. But my favorite one of the ones I have is I have one of Eric Clapton's guitars, and that's my favorite.
Ah,
Just because it was one of his, and it's a cool one. It's a Birdland 2008, custom built for him. But he sold a few at Gruen Guitar a few years ago, maybe 6 years ago, 5 years ago. And so that one, just because like I'm a big Clapton fan, it was like the fact that I was able to make that acquisition was a big deal.
oh
So,
yeah. I've got Rory Gallagher guitar. I've got
you have one of Rory's?
yeah. I actually
Wow.
have a weather-beaten Strat, a '61 Strat that was Roy's. Um,
Oh wow.
so now let's talk about favorite guitar gear. You play through a like me help me.
Line 6 Helix.
No, I've got a Kemper stage.
Kemper Profiler. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I got a Kemper Profiler stage.
Yes. I have one of those too. And I love that. You still using it a lot?
It's the only thing I use. I had a head rush, and I got the Kemper, and I sold the head rush immediately.
Oh yeah. So you got the one that's powered. You can just plug a speaker into it.
Right. Well, powered speakers, right? As a matter of fact, I'm using my head rush FR speakers with it.
Okay.
I've got two 12-inch speakers, and yeah, I absolutely love the head rush. I mean the Kemper. It's it does so much.
It's a game
It's a little hard to figure out how to use.
I agree.
If anybody's thinking about a Kemper, make sure you get the manual. Don't buy one without the manual because it's not the easiest one to figure out.
There are some good YouTube videos, some tutorials that I found. I'm pretty techie, and like I had a hard time with it too. Like when I first got it, it was just like, and I don't profile amps. I think I did that once just to see how it worked, but all the ones that I'm using are ones that other people have profiled.
IRs and patches and whatnot.
Yeah.
Practice habits. Tell me what your practice habits are.
Man, I can tell you what I should be doing, and then I can tell you what I actually do. The best practice habit, I learned this kind of early on, is to take, you can split practice into two buckets. One is practicing what you already know, just to keep muscle memory up and to get better dexterity and get your synchronization and all that. So that's one thing. So you've got a song you do or a scale that you do or whatever, and you can practice your speed and work on that. The other, which is the more important, I think, is practicing the stuff that is uncomfortable, that is new. So you have to discuss like the new stuff. So there's the stuff you already know, yeah, and that's what most of us do. We pick up our guitar and we just go through the songs we already know, and we're like, yeah, I practice. Well, that's just sort of half practice. The real practice is when you take a song that you don't know and you're working on a scale you don't know, or a lick that you don't know, and you're trying to figure out how to make that lick work over a different song, and you're trying to pick up new ideas. It's the discovery. That's the word I was looking for. Discovery portion of practice. So that's how I like to think of practice. It's not what I always do, but that's the ultimate practice, is to have half of your practice devoted to discovery, new input. Don't just go through the same old stuff. And then the other half is just go through the same old stuff, but make that
improve upon it.
Improve upon it. Yeah. Throw in another lick, maybe phrase it a little different. You can always kind of work some of the discovery into the old stuff. But discovery is a big thing.
Okay, so we're going to wrap up here. Where do people find you?
You can find me. My website is activemelody.com. It's just spelled just like it is, no spaces. And then I'm on
We'll put a link to it in the description below.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, and then I'm on TikTok and Instagram and all of those, Twitter. Well, now it's X, YouTube. You can just look for Active Melody. I'm Active Melody on all of those. Facebook as well. And
you have activemelody.com. You scored that one. Fantastic. Well, this has been Brian Sherrill. Brought me from a stroke and giving up on guitar back into guitar. And since I met Brian, I've written 150 songs, which you can find on my Spotify channel. This is Gary Dranow. And Brian, it's been a real thrill and pleasure to have you on. We've already agreed that you're going to come back, so let's look forward to Brian's return to All Things Music with Gary Dranow.
All right. Thank you, Gary. This is great.
Okay, buddy. Don't go away.